If it's a day called today, we're talking guitars and life. Hey friends, man, how did we get here, Jack? 1,000 subscribers on the channel. What is really going on, man? Well, I thought I'd just make a vid to celebrate the 1,000 subscribers for the channel, man. Man, oh man, guys, who would have thought that we'd get here? I never did. In fact, I've got a story to tell, and if you hang on the channel, you already knew that. Hey, if it's your first time, man, welcome. Why don't you stick around a little bit, hang out with us some more at TED Talks, Guitars, and Life. And now, let's get into it. So back in November of 2023, I was kind of going through a phase of getting some gear. I was playing in a little joyful noise context. I had some gigs coming up, a men's retreat, a seminary graduation, you know, I had a church that I was sitting in with a little bit here and there, and I just really wanted a Telecaster, man. So I went out to Tommen and I got a Harley Benton TE52. Guys, I'm not going to go into all the details, the nooks and crannies, the twists and turns where we laughed, we cried, you know, all those kind of things, man. I'm going to drop a link in the description below to a playlist called The History of the Channel. And in that playlist, I'm going to put the very first video. Be afraid, my friends. Be very, very afraid of what you're going to see. The first two videos that I ever posted on YouTube, I posted them to my private personal account long before I ever thought that we'd have a channel here at TED Talks, Guitars, and Life. So if you want to check out the humble beginnings of the channel, you could certainly do that. But I was looking for some gear, and I went out and I got a Harley Benton TE52. It was in Germany, Tommen's in-store brand, Harley Benton, and it was going to be like $225 with the guitar and shipping from Germany to the States where I'm located. And that was really the biggest part of the expense, was the shipping. Well, I got that guitar and I just turned on the camera and I was cycling through the pickups, and the neck pickup was shot out the box, man. Just completely gone. And that's a whole story that you can find out how all that ended up in the playlist below. While I was going through the discouragement of I took a risk. I ordered this guitar from a company in Germany, and I kind of had that feeling. You know how when you buy something online, you kind of have that feeling, man, I don't think this is a great idea. Well, I kind of had that feeling, but man, I fought through it. You know what I'm saying? When you want something bad enough, you fight through those kind of common sense thoughts maybe you might have. I'm not putting Harley Bentons down, man. In fact, there's other Harley Benton videos in the channel playlist that you can see that I actually liked and enjoy, and I actually ended up liking the TE52. But while the neck was not working, the neck pickup was jacked up, and Tommen, they were corresponding with me, man, but it was taking much longer than I anticipated. Yes, guys, Ted has always been Ted. A little demanding. Some of you think I'm a perfectionist and OCD and all those kind of things, but making a big deal out of stuff that you ought to just look the other way about. Well, my friends, while I was waiting, emails back and forth with Tommen, because I would have expected that if I had a customer and the customer received a product that didn't work, I would immediately want to send that customer, whether I'm in Germany or wherever I am, a replacement unit, right? Well, they weren't doing that, and I was sitting around the house and I was kind of sulking a little bit, and my wife, bless her heart, man, she's been supportive of the channel since day one, although these days she might think I'm a little obsessed about things, and she may be right. So she said to me, baby, what's wrong? And I said, man, this guitar, I never should have bought it. I'm just going to send it back, and I'm just going to be done with this Harley Benton thing, man. And she said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, you know, I saw this Squier Classic Vibe on the Fender website, and it was a reduced price. And guys, I don't know if this was a clearance model or what, but I did not pay, you know, the full retail listing for this. I said, I should have just bought that Squier. I've been looking at it. Yeah, it's twice the money. And guys, it was twice the money, even though it was discounted. You can imagine, right? And she said, baby, just get the guitar, man. You'll be happier. And I said, oh, I love you so much, baby. Click. And so this is one of the guitars that started it all on the channel. And in fact, there is a full 2-minute, I think it is, vid. Man, I'm wearing like flannel pajama pants and some t-shirt. It is the most jacked up video you don't ever want to watch. So don't you dare go to that playlist and watch that vid of me doing my first ever video about a new guitar, man. New guitar day, Squier, classic vibe, 50s, you know, all that kind of stuff, man. So this guitar really started it all. Well, there was a challenge with this guitar. And the challenge is that I've mentioned in previous vids about this guitar, and there's actually a whole video just about this guitar that I go into much more detail. Suffice to say, I had a couple of frets that were high, but then I had some sharp fret edges, and this first fret was one of those where the string could like get caught under it. I'm talking about a bass string. It would grab my thumb. It was uncomfortable. And guys, I was not prepared. I didn't know how to fix anything. I didn't have a fret file. I never watched J-Man and 2-Bike Mike yet. I hadn't discovered Dave at Dave's World of Fun Stuff. I didn't know anything about fret friends, man. I didn't know what I was doing. So I thought, well, man, that's really sad that this thing is jacked up. And so I got my feelings a little bit about that. Well, back in my LP playing days, Epiphone LP playing days at one of the churches that I pastored here in Mesquite, Texas for a while, the band was so gracious, man. They let me sit on this stool that I'm sitting on today and play little riffs in between the praise choruses, man. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. But I would buy these Epiphone LPs, and there was a guy in the Dallas area, and he used to work for Paul Reed Smith, and he hung a shingle kind of on the weekends as a guitar tech. So I hired that brother and paid him, you know, a couple $100 here and there, and he would take my Epiphone LPs and, you know, he'd swap out the pots or put a true Gibson, you know, bridge on it or something for me, a tune-o-matic kind of thing, and he'd fix them up, set them up, and yeah, man, give them back to me, and they were such great guitars. Well, I thought, man, wouldn't it be great if I could find somebody that could do that with this Squier? Well, I have a friend, and he used to actually be the manager at one of the guitar box stores in the area. And I knew him fairly well because I had taken one of those LPs that I bought from him up there so many times. They hated to see me walking in the door demanding that they fix my fret buzz, which they did, probably just to get rid of me. But anyway, so he had hung a shingle, and so I started reaching out to him, and I said, hey man, I hear you do guitar repair. He said, yeah, I do that a little bit on the side. I said, man, I've got this Squier Telecaster, and I would love it, man, if I could bring it to you, and you could look at it. I'm willing to pay, you know, this ain't no free deal, you know, this ain't no brother-in-law deal, man. I'll pay you out my pocket. I just got some stuff here that I don't know what to do with. And he said, man, I'd love to help you. Well, that didn't work out. It just never worked out where we could set up a deal. So what I did is I went on YouTube, like a lot of you do, trying to figure out how to do stuff. I really hadn't been on YouTube except to post sermons for the church or, you know, teachings or whatever it is I'm doing, my own personal business, you know. And so I went out and I found Dave at Dave's World of Fun Stuff. And I started watching old Dave. In fact, I watched Dave so much, I would sit in my living room after dinner and watch YouTube, and my family would watch Dave with me. My daughter would walk through the room and she'd go, "Oh, Dave." I mean, we just loved hanging out with Dave, man, you know. And so he started, you know, working on frets. And if you ever seen one Dave's videos, you've seen them all. You know, I mean, he's the same guy, the same kind of attack, same kind of approach, started the truss rod and the whole. I mean, I could just do it verbatim, but we're not here for that. We're celebrating 1,000 subscribers, and I want to celebrate you and thank you for that, by the way. I'm going to give some thanks before we're done. And so I went out, and whatever tools I saw Dave using, I started buying stuff. Guys, I didn't even know how to use it. I had seen him do it. I bought the tools, and I started working on the guitar. Well, sure enough, man, I fixed that first fret, and I fixed these sharp fret edges. Now, did I jack my fingerboard up just a little bit? You know I did. If you hang on the channel, you already knew that. But yeah, man, I figured it out. And then I figured out how to level some frets and some other things. And then I stumbled onto J-Man and 2-Bike Mike. And I started watching those cats, man. Everything they did, I ended up doing. I mean, I know J-Man and I know Mike. They don't need any praise. They're probably sick and tired of me giving them shout-outs all the time and bragging them up and all that, man. But I'm telling you guys, I sat at their feet is what I'm saying. I was a student of theirs. Here's the thing about life, if you guys don't mind me leaning into the TED Talks, Guitars, and Life. Let me lean into the and life part of this whole little adventure we got going on together, you and I. Guys, there may always be someone watching you. Whatever you're doing, you are teaching them. You're teaching them how to live. You're teaching them how to do what you do. You're teaching them what not to do. You're teaching them how to talk and how not to talk. Everything in your life, all of the people around you are looking at you and they're learning from you. So that was my experience with 2-Bike Mike and with J-Man. And they got West Creek Racer, so I got a West Creek Racer. And I made a video about that. And then I found Fret Friends and so many other channels that I can't mention. But those 4 channels, I'm just telling you guys, I wouldn't know how to do anything with my guitar without them. Now, could I have found other channels and bought a book and some other things? Sure. But those are the 4 channels that I cut my teeth on. And so I just started watching them and I started buying tools and I started going a little bit deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole. So since I had done all that work to the Squier to get it to my player preferences, man, I began to think, okay, well, this is a $400 something guitar right here. Is there a guitar I could buy for $200 that I could do those same things to? I mean, here's the thing, guys. If you don't know how to work on your gear, everything's a mystery. But the minute you figure out this is wood and screws, and there are general principles, and I'm saying general principles, that if applied to any guitar, you can get a playable, enjoyable guitar, and you don't have to spend tons of money, man. If you want to spend the bank on a whatever you want, man, you do you, man. Rock on with your bad selves. I'm just saying, for me, I began to think, well, what about that? So about 3 days after I purchased this guitar, Tom and I finally reached they did me a solid, man. Shout out to Tom Customer Service, man. They did me a solid. They hooked me up, Jack, in regard to that TE52. I kept that guitar. I installed my first ever pickup on that guitar, man. I sure did, guys. And it was a great learning experience. The only thing I didn't like about the TE52 is she was heavy, man. I'm talking like almost 11 pounds heavy. Now, it's just a TE52 model. There are other models that are lighter. See, look at me falling into the rabbit hole of just talking about stuff. I'm supposed to be making a point. My point is, this guitar right here, this my old friend that I still have so far today, is kind of the gold standard. It is the first guitar that I ever really, truly made my own. So if you want to see that journey, you can look at the playlist below. Okay, how did we get here from there? I've gotten myself into more stuff that I'd never done before than I could have even thought possible in these past year and a few months, since November 2023. Man, it's been such a great ride, man. I think it was June or July of 24, I posted my first like kind of official review of a guitar. And then from there, man, it feels like I post a vid every day. I know some of you think that, but I film stuff for hours, and then I try to break those up. I really do, guys, into 15, 25-minute segments, something like that. And I know it seems like every day I'm doing this, but I'm really trying to space it out for you so that you're not bombarded with a whole playlist, an onslaught of 13 videos about one guitar. So anyway, all that to say, man, I never knew, I never dreamed that I would have a YouTube channel. In fact, in my earliest videos, I'd say really dumb things, guys. Don't say dumb things. Like, well, I know I'm not a channel, and none of this is a sponsored video, and nobody's paying me to say this, and all this stuff, just constantly putting myself down and putting the channel down. But you know what happened, guys? You happened, man. So many of you started talking to me in the comments about something that I had done that was helpful for you. Am I an instructor? I am not an instructor. The two mantras of the channel, if you hang out with me, you know this. Everybody say it, guys. You do you. And the second one is, nothing I do is prescriptive. It's just descriptive of my form of crazy when I work on guitars and I talk about my own life. But man, because so many of you were communicating back to me and feeding back to me that what I was doing was helpful, I had a guy post something just today in a comment and say, hey, next time you do that, could you slow down and record this part for me? I want to learn how to do that. And I said, well, sure, man, I can sure try to do that. If I get my camera figured out, I'll give it the old college try for you. Well, guys, man, I never thought that I'd be hanging out with you. And then we started doing this Tuesday night live thing, and we're all in the chat together and doing premieres. And this next week, we're actually going to do a roundtable Zoom call, and we're going to see everybody kind of face to face and fellowship it up for, 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And it's such a great, look, guys, do what gives you life, man. Find the stuff that you dig. I say it all the time. I pray that you're doing what you dig and digging what you do, Jack. And I mean that. Surround yourself, man, with people who can affirm you and support you, and people who will champion you on your particular journey. Life is so much better with community and good friends around you, man. Life is too short, guys, not to invest in quality relationships with other folk. Well, I could go on for hours and hours. We know, we hang out on the channel. I almost did the whisper thing, but that wouldn't work. Don't worry, we'll edit that out. We don't edit anything out. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. So yeah, guys, I just want to thank each and every one of you. I say it on Tuesday nights a lot. My friends, you are the channel, man. The channel is not me in this room by myself working on guitars and posting up boneheaded things, mistakes that I make. You're the channel, man. You're the reason for the channel. And as long as this channel is helpful to you, as long as I feel like I can contribute in some ways, so many up and coming channels, man. There are so many guys who have great content. I wish I could list them all. Guys that just don't get the views or don't get the subs, man. And I don't understand it. I don't know why you guys are drawn to this. I don't know what we're doing that's helpful. Feel free to put it in the comments. Guys, I'm not looking for flattery and I'm not looking for direction, but I would love to know, man, if something that we're doing at TED Talks Guitars and Life is helping you on your journey, man, I'd love to know about that. Well, my friends, as always, wherever you are in your guitar journey, I pray it's a long, smooth, safe, joy-filled ride for you, Jack. Hey, rock on with your best selves, everybody. We'll catch you down the road, man. Yep, pretty much. What'd you think about that, Dutchie?
Well, I think, Poppy, if you had me on more, you'd get more subs, man, because everybody loves a dog that can work with a screwdriver.
Man, get out of here. Don't you have something to do?
Well, I'm sorry, Poppy. I was just hanging out with you, man.
Get lost, Jack. I'm making a video.
But I just wanted to say to everybody how much I appreciate their support.
Dude. It's not Dutchie Talks Guitars in Life. It's Poppy Talks Guitars in Life, a.k.a. Ted. Jack.